Hello and welcome to another episode of Mind Map. Today's topic of discussion is Vice President of India. First of all, we will discuss about the introduction of the topic. Then we will discuss about constitutional provisions, functions and powers of Vice President of India, term of office and vacancy in office. First of all, moving on to the introduction of the topic, the office of the Vice President of India is the second highest constitutional office after the President of India. Article 63 to 71 in Part 5 of the Constitution of India deals with the office of the Vice President. The post of Vice President in India is modelled on the line of the Vice President of the United States of America. Now let's discuss about constitutional provisions. First is election. The Vice President, like the President, is elected indirectly rather than directly by the people. He is elected by the members of an electoral college consisting of elected members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation and voting is done by the secret ballot. The election of the Vice President is to be held within 60 days of the expiry of the term of office of the outgoing Vice President. The doubts and disputes arising out of or in connection with the election of the Vice President are inquired and decided by the Supreme Court. The decision of Supreme Court in any such matter is final. Second is qualification. According to Article 66 of the Constitution, in order to be elected as the Vice President, a person must fulfill the following constitutional requirements. She or he should be a citizen of India. She or he should have completed 35 years of age. She or he should be qualified for election as a member of the Rajya Sabha. She or he should not hold any office of profit under the union, state or local authority. However, for this purpose, the President, Vice President, Governor of any state and a Minister for the Union or any state are not held to be holding an office of profit. It is also essential that the nomination of any candidate must be subscribed by at least 20 electors as proposers and 20 electors as seconders. Also, every candidate has to make a security deposit of Rs 15,000 in the Reserve Bank of India. Third is oath and affirmation. Before entering upon his office, the Vice President has to make and subscribe to an oath or affirmation. The oath of office to the Vice President is administered by the President of India or some person appointed in that behalf by him. In this oath, the Vice President swears to bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India and to faithfully discharge the duties of his office. Fourth is conditions of service. The Constitution lays down the following two conditions of the Vice President's office. She or he should not be a member of either House of Parliament or a House of the State Legislature. If a member of either House of Parliament or of a legislator of any state is elected as Vice President, he is deemed to have vacated his seat in that house. She or he should not hold any other office of profit. Now let's have a look at functions and powers. He acts as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha and cannot hold any other office of profit. In this capacity, his powers and functions are similar to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. He acts as president when a vacancy occurs in the office of the president due to his resignation, impeachment, death or otherwise. He can act as president only for a maximum period of 6 months within which a new president has to be elected. Also, when the sitting president is unable to discharge his functions due to absence, illness or any other cause, the vice president discharges his functions until the president resumes his office. While acting as president or discharging the functions of president, the vice president does not perform the duties of the office of the chairman of Rajya Sabha. The constitution has not fixed any emoluments for the vice president in that capacity. He draws his regular salary in his capacity as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. During any period when the vice president acts as president or discharges the functions of the president, he is entitled to the salary and allowance of the president. Now moving on to term of office. The vice president holds office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters upon his office. However, he can resign from his office at any time by addressing the resignation letter to the president. The term may also end earlier by removal procedure and no formal impeachment is required for his or her removal. She or he can be removed by a resolution of the Rajya Sabha passed by an absolute majority and agreed to by Lok Sabha. To move such resolution of 14 days prior notice is to be given. However, there are no grounds mentioned in the Constitution for his or her removal. The Vice President can hold office beyond his term of 5 years until his successor assumes charge. He is also eligible for re-election to that office. He may be elected for any number of terms. Now let's discuss about vacancy in office. A vacancy in the Vice President's office can occur in any of the following ways: on the expiry of his tenure of 5 years, by his resignation, on his removal, by his death, or when he becomes disqualified to hold office, or when his election is declared void. An election to fill a vacancy in the office of Vice President occurring due to death, resignation, or removal shall be held as soon as possible. The newly elected Vice President remains in office for a full term of 5 years from the date he assumes charge of his office. Now it's time for the practice question. First of all, prelims question. Consider the following statements regarding the function of Vice President. 1. He acts as the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. 2. He acts as the ex officio chairman of Lok Sabha. 3. He acts as president when a vacancy occurs in the office of the president due to his resignation, removal, death, or otherwise. Which of the following statement or statements is or are correct? Only 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, or all of the above. And now mains question. How are the President and the Vice President of India elected? What are the constitutional issues involved in their election? So that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.